Hey YouTube, we are currently live on both Facebook and YouTube, but good thing you guys are tuning in here. Let me just check that we are live. Bear with me. Oh, okay, cool. So you guys see me now. Alrighty then. While Facebook is trying to reconnect like it is always, I'm glad you guys are here on YouTube because it never fails. It really never fails. Okay. I guess I start off with a few announcements, which for this month or for this week, I'm coming out with a review very soon of one of my favorite movies this year. And then I've been wanting to do a trailer reaction of a couple of obviously trailers that have maybe I'm like so excited for. So I might do that and then watch out for the trailer, watch out for the reviews, and be sure to follow all my social media on my other platforms like Facebook, Instagram. I've been doing a lot more Instagram stories so I can take you guys to like show you my day-to-day kind of film life, as you can call it. I guess without further ado, I'm pretty big on Halloween. I like to get dressed up, but I end up becoming or dressing up as a vampire like always because I'm so innovative. But this year or every year I like to have like a movie night where I just invite my friends and I like to decorate my room, my tiny room, and just show my favorite movies. And this year I feel like because I'm so in love with 90's movies, especially 90's teen movies, I would do like a 90's horror theme. And so I bought a few DVDs that I was like, okay, these DVDs I need for sure, like just in my collection. And one of the first ones, because the way I buy DVDs is, would I'm if it's not on Netflix and if it's just really hard to kind of get through any other streaming site because either one, they're like so iconic, or two, they're just obscure and really hard to find. And so I was like, you know what? I just have to buy it. I just have to like bite the bullet because I'm really trying to minimize my life. But DVDs are like one thing that I feel I can't. So right off the bat, I had to buy Scream. Oh God, can't see. Can you see this? Okay, I had to buy Scream because I watched it with my cousin in like the third grade, and I really didn't want to, but he made me. And I don't think I could understand it fully, but I was so in love and petrified at the same time because Wes Craven really created the horror genre in terms of like the slasher in a sense, where he kind of mimicked and took all the tropes and reinvented it for himself and this film. And so I thought that was really cool. So if you don't know Scream, it's about Sydney. She's attempting to cope with her mother's mysterious death, and her horror movie obsessed friends are stalked by an unknown killer who seems to be having a hard time letting the past go. So it was very meta at the same time, and just downright scary. I think the most iconic scene is one of the most iconic scenes is the beginning sequence where Drew Barrymore answers the phone and she just screams into the phone. I feel it doesn't get anything better than that. I feel like every time people think of Scream, they just think of Drew Barrymore, even though she's not in the movie like all that much. And so this is Wes Craven. We follow Nev Campbell, which I was shocked that she would be a leading woman, but regardless, I thought she was great. Courtney Cox, Rose McGowan, everybody who's big in the 90s was in this, I swear. Matthew Lillard. Holy crap. He scared the he scared the crap out of me. I didn't think anybody could be as sinister as Matthew Lillard and his other friend, who I don't know the name of. Skeet Ulrich. Oh my god. So those two, no spoilers, but kind of spoilers. Those two really scared the crap out of me, and I loved it. So I can't wait to rewatch this because I know it's going to be a good one. As for the whole franchise, hi Wendy 004. Hello. As for the whole franchise, I can't really say much after like 3. Scream 3 on. I really can't say much. Yeah, but I can't wait to dig into this one. So the second one, God, they're all so good. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, The Faculty. This is one I watched on. I feel like it was like on PBS or something. It was on TV, and I was so like haunted by the sequence of just everything. So it's about a group of students who suspect that their teachers are aliens after bizarre occurrences. I think this is one of the first movies I saw where a person turned into something, and it really freaked me out. It came out in 1998. It's classified as horror, sci-fi, and I think this was the peak of Josh Hartnett because he was like the leading man. He was like pretty hot, and this was like an all-star cast of teen kids. And I always feel it's the scariest thing is being at school at night and then probably knowing that your teachers are aliens out to kill you. And so the premise was pretty brilliant. This is directed by Robert Rodriguez, who ended up doing so many things like Machete, Sin City, Grindhouse, to say the least. Surprisingly, Spy Kids 3D. But I loved this. This was the prime. So Clea Duvall, who always looked so freaky to me, but she's like classic 90s star. Salma Hayek, surprisingly. Famke Jensen and Jordana Brewster, who's in the Fast and Furious series. Usher's in this. Elijah Wood is in this. Jon Stewart, surprisingly, Jon Stewart is in this. And so, really great kind of very weird alien school environment, but very realistic, because this is probably my ultimate fear of being at school at night, and then your teachers are like not only trying to fail you, but they're trying to like kill you. So that's a wonderful feeling. Yeah, great. So can't wait to watch this. I got all the DVDs on Amazon. I feel like because they were the cheapest there, but I'm pretty sure you could buy it anywhere else. So another great one that always sticks with me, and I feel like this is like the film that I remember my childhood the most because I watched it a couple times in theaters. I don't know why. I think like in the 3rd grade, I just like spent my whole childhood in the theaters watching scary movies, even though I don't like scary movies. So I ended up watching it in theaters, and then I'm watching it when it came straight to tape. Yeah, tape, you guys. Or VHS. And that is I Know What You Did Last Summer. This came out 1997. I loved Jennifer Love Hewitt because she was like, when you think of the 90s, not only are you thinking of like Nev Campbell, but you're thinking of Jennifer Love Hewitt because she was like the teen girl to be. And this cast is insane. Okay, you're talking about the four leading stars or biggest stars of the 90s, which is Jennifer Love Hewitt, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr., and then Ryan Phillippe. And so they pretty much dominated all of the 90s. And so, yeah. So this is about after a nasty accident, four friends begin to drift apart. 1 year later, Julie James, who's played by Jennifer Love Hewitt, gets an anonymous message. Then a slicker-wearing, hook-wielding killer begins to rip apart her life. Okay, that synopsis is accurate, but basically they hit some guy on the road and then they ditch him, and like they ditch his body into the ocean or something, and then he comes back to haunt them. I think this film really made a good use of like the horror weapons, because I don't know if I've seen somebody like, at least at that time when I saw this, I don't think I saw anybody wielding a hook as a killing a weapon to kill. But yeah, it was. I am pretty sure a lot of people think it's really campy, or not really campy, but it's not very good in terms of the horror genre. But I remember my childhood so distinctly through this film that I had to get it. And plus, like, it's not on Netflix. It's super hard to find. I barely watch TV. Yeah, and I'm trying to get used to buying actual DVD, like Blu-rays now. Now that I have a Blu-ray player, Jim Gillespie directed this, and he directed a lot of other very B horror films, which ICU, Venom. He's coming out, Billionaire, Ransom. So things I haven't heard before. I did like. I did like the second I Know What You Did Last Summer, or I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. I really still like that, only because I think Mekhi Phifer and Brandy's in it, and it's just really fun. The Dreadful says, Matt, the 90s are probably the worst decade for horror. Scream is so fucking overrated. Maybe you're right, but we'll talk about which decade probably has the best horror films after this. But the 90s, it probably wasn't the greatest decade for horror, but I feel like there's a few gems in there that I really admire just for my own personal like taste. And they're always just fun to watch regardless. They're just a blast. So I Know What You Did Last Summer is one of them. It's just so freaking awesome. And it's weird that Shawn Mendes has a song to this, because it's like, dude, why are you trying to like rip this off? Anyways, so one of my favorite films, so as I said, I'm gonna have like a 90s horror movie night, and what I am going to show, which I'm really excited for, is Death Becomes Her. I found this out like maybe I don't know. I feel like I found out about this film maybe like 2 years ago. But this is the most like campy, fun, like, oh my god. I was like, why didn't I know about this movie for so long? As you can tell, this is like Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn in their freaking prime. And it's just so funny. of course, the reason why it's so fun and chill and just great and campy is because it's directed by Robert Zemeckis, who did Back to the Future, and like he did Back to the Future, all three films, and then he did this film, and then he went to go do Forrest Gump. And it's weird because I had no idea he did this. It's amazing. You could also get this at Scream Factory. Scream Factory has a lot of very obscure indie, like obscure horror films, as well as a lot of films that you probably can't find anywhere else. So Scream Factory is very great. Yeah, I recommend this. This is probably the most expensive purchase out of my other DVDs, because everything's kind of like $5, $6, and this was like 25. Collector's edition, which I love. So Death Becomes Her is about when a woman learns of an immortality treatment. She sees it as a way to outdo her longtime rival. So they were like best friends, or they're high school friends, and they're super jealous of each other, and so they really try to outdo one another. And Meryl Streep has like a crazy obsession with looking young and looking beautiful and just being youthful in general. And so she kind of, in a sense, like sells her soul. But it's just so much fun, especially because Bruce Willis is in this also. I don't know if you... Bruce Willis, Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn. Amazing. It's just so much fun. I think I'm gonna write. I might. Not only am I showing this. Yeah, I'm gonna be showing this in my movie night, but I think I might write them as like one of my badass femmes. If you don't know about my column on Chrome Yellow, it's called Badass Femmes, where I write about badass females who in pop culture who has like affected my life, and it's just so much fun. I actually, let's see. Okay, well, it's just like this. I guess there's nothing, I don't know why they call it a collector's item when there's not like fancy stuff, but maybe there's tons of extra features. So I dig it. Yes, it was $25, kind of expensive for me because I don't buy DVDs, like unless it's Criterion. It's just DVDs also shouldn't be that expensive. The Dreadful says, Audition is probably my favorite. We will talk about the scariest films very soon. Yes, Bruce Willis had hair here. Kind of insane. And he's really fun in this, so I can't wait to watch this with all my friends, / write about them as my badass femmes. And I'm really interested to see what my friends think, especially because I don't think they watched this. Also, if you want me to make a video about my movie nights, let me know so I can just show you guys what's going on, which honestly, it's so hard to make vlogs about people watching movies because it's like, it's not that fun. So sadly, the last film, which is probably a childhood favorite of mine, and I remember being so petrified by like everything that was in this film, especially Angelica Houston. Oh my God, Huston. Oh my God, I am butchering her name. Angelica Huston. She has like a very strong face, but in this film, you're like sucked into her world, and you're just so damn scared of her. And that is The Witches. Does anybody remember this movie? Like, this came out in 1990. I like watched it as a child, probably on TV because, yeah, I don't think I would have went out to Blockbuster or something and rented it. Like, I would have never. So I watched this on possibly like ABC Family. And so it's about a young boy who stumbles onto a witch convention and must stop them, even after he has been turned into a mouse. Holy crap. There's one scene in this film where they take off their like real face to reveal who they really are. And it was like the scariest moment of my life because I've never seen creatures like that. And considering that it's inspired by Ronald Dahl's films, like they made their their reveal so exactly like how they would have done it. And so I cannot wait to rewatch this. This is also the second film that I'm going to show at my movie night. So I hope it brings back a lot of memories for a lot of people. And you know why this is amazing, but also like so rare, because Nicholas Roeg, who directed one of the scariest movies in my opinion, which is Don't Look Now, in the 1970s, and then he went on to do this. Like, I don't understand how, like, what the crossover, it was just so insane. If you don't know about Don't Look Now, please go watch it. It is like, I cannot, it's like one of those films, I don't know why, I just can't watch it again because of the little person in the red coat. It just, like, that image has scarred me for so long. So Nicholas Roeg is a freaking master. I remember when I first started YouTube, if you go all the way back, I did like my top scariest horror films, and I was like a little baby and I was super awkward. But I will link it down below. I'll link everything down below after this video. But I remember listing like 5 movies that I will never probably watch ever again, and Don't Look Now was listed as one of them. And so go back wherever, now or later, I'll link it down, and you can see what films I talked about. But yeah, I'm not finished talking about this film, but I think next week I might do the best horror films, like, or what I think, the scariest films I've ever seen, like a live stream of that, or the best horror films of 2016. But most likely, I think I'm going to do uh, a video or a live stream of the scariest films ever. The Dreadful says Dead Alive, Brain Dead from Peter Jackson is fucking great. I will, yeah, that's that's on my list. I didn't want to put things in which I haven't watched because it's like, why am I going to talk about a movie that I haven't watched? But that's also on my list, so I'm really looking forward to it. Eddie Kim says 90s scary film Misery. Misery is also scary, but Misery is more like pre-torture porn. Like, it's scary in a sense because you really don't want a stalker in your life. But horror for me is more psychological. It's deep-seated, like, just, it's deep. It runs so deep. And I think I will go through my like scariest horror films next live stream, which for next week. I'm hoping I'll do it on Saturday or Sunday at the same time. So I'll figure that out, let you guys know down below. So yeah, I'm so excited to watch this. Holy crap. When I found out that it was Nicholas Roeg, I was just like, oh my god, brain freeze. Other than that, I just really enjoy like children films, which children's films that kind of capture can do horror in a way where it's still scary, but it's very imaginative and it takes you to a world that you haven't been. I heard one of the most recent children horror films that came out that I thought was decent was Goosebumps with Jack Black. I thought it was just so much fun. You get into their world and it's just amazing. I think there should probably be more like horror films for kids because it's a friggin' art like Beetlejuice that just will rock everybody's world, and I loved them as a child. So that's about it. So I went through Scream, Wes Craven's Scream, which probably is the best one. I don't know about the other ones. I Know What You Did Last Summer, which I keep coming back to. I don't care if people say it's shitty. I loved it. I really did. I just think it's amazing. And it's just fun. The Faculty, a good alien hell raised in school or whatever. If that's a genre. Hell in school, school in hell. I don't. Whatever, you know. Death Becomes Her. Beauty obsessed girlfriends who try to fight off each other. Which honestly, I feel like, considering that I feel like guys think that girls fight a lot over men or with each other, and I feel like that's very rare. Unless you're super immature. So I know that that's what they're basing it on. But it's just funny that guys think that this is how we're like. But it was kind of fun to watch in that perspective, I guess. And The Witches. Amazing. I can't wait. I can't wait to rewatch this. Angelica Huston is a damn gem. So that was it. The Dreadful says, funny games for Haneke. I love home invasion types. I will think of a home invasion film that really petrified me. I still have yet to watch, what's that horror film that came out? Like, The Purge. I have yet to watch Purge. And I feel like funny games, the original scared me more than the remake, the American remake, which surprisingly, it's like, I don't know why he remade it because he's the same director and he just made it an English version. And I think, considering that I think the original was in German, that scared me more than the American version, even though I freaking love Naomi Watts. Yeah, Naomi Watts. And so don't get me started about Haneke because I can go on and on about his films. It's like he's one of my favorite filmmakers ever. And so, yeah. So, okay. So I'm thinking, you know, I can't talk about this film just yet because I watched it at Beyond Fest, but I literally watched the scariest film I've ever seen this year at Beyond Fest. And me and Sal from Chrome Yellow are going to do a review about it very soon. But in the meantime, I think next week for the live stream, I'm going to be talking about the scariest films ever to me, though. Like, we got to take it into perspective. Like, I am a scaredy cat when it comes to supernatural stuff like The Ring and The Grudge, which honestly, I can't deal with those. Like, that's not for me. Although there are other aspects that scare me more than supernatural stuff. So we will get into that next week, as well as look back to my old video. I was so awkward, but I did list my favorite horror films there, which I don't think I could rewatch because I edited some clips into the video, and I'm too scared, you guys. I just can't rewatch stuff with clips, and then it just brings me back to that moment where I watched it. So no, thank you. Other than that, let me know what your favorite 90s horror films are. I'm sure there's tons more that are a lot scarier. But for me, I think I have a little soft spot for teen movies and kid movies, and then combined in one, you get these, especially in the 90s. And so, yeah, true. The Dreadful said they remade funny games for the American audience for the money, but was a failure. But honestly, I still like the take of is it Tim Roth and Naomi Campbell? Like, they're freaking amazing. I cannot. That scene of her in the chair, yeah, that's amazing. Eddie says, Silence of the Lambs. We'll have to get back to that. Silence of the Lambs has one sequence I thought was incredible where they're in the dark and they have the night vision glasses. That was the scariest part. But tune in next week so we can discuss a lot more about everything else. Probably a lot more extensively because we really need to get down to like all the horror films that are like really scary. I'm sure there's so many, but I'm really gonna make a comprehensive list of films that like I literally cannot watch again because it scarred me to the core. So yeah, does anybody have any questions? Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. Yeah, I usually start around 11 a.m. So tune in next week because we'll be talking a lot more. But if you guys have any questions, be sure to follow me on all my social media, on Facebook, Twitter. I tweet a lot. Instagram, doing Instagram stories so I can show you my like daily life and all the films that I'm watching like every day, which I'm pretty sure everyone thinks I'm crazy for watching so many films because I have no life, but I don't care. Idle Hands. Yeah, that was one of the other films I was going to put as my like guilty pleasure horror comedy, you know, from the 90s. Idle Hands, there are some good parts there because I love that cast. And Jessica Alba is like so freaking young and I barely recognized her. So Idle Hands was one that was good. I think it was maybe two. I'll have to revisit it again. I don't think I wanted to pick it and buy the DVD, but I don't think I remember it as much. I think I found it like kind of like grotesque in a sense, where I don't remember exactly what happened, but I found the hand to be just a bit pervish. So yeah, but anyways, let me know down below what your favorite films or horror films in general are and your favorite 90s horror films. Tune in next week because we'll be like really talking about everything, a lot more. And come back so I can list you all the clips and trailers for the films that I talked about, / my awkward vlog that I did of my favorite horror films or scariest horror films. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!